tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the worthy one, the blessed one, the fully enlightened Buddha. Dear friends in Dhamma, today I am going to discuss with you one sutta in Majjhima Nikaya. The name of the sutta is Mahamalunkyaputta Sutta. Once Buddha was living in Jetavana monastery and he addressed the bhikkhus, "O bhikkhus, have you remembered that I have taught you the 5 lower fetters?" They said, "Yes, we remember." Then the Mahalunkyaputta Thero replied the Buddha, "I remember the most venerable, the Lord Buddha, has explained us that self-view or the identity view as one fetter, and the vichikicca, the doubt, as the lower fetter, and also adherence and misappropriation, misunderstanding of the rites and rituals. Then doubt, and also the desire for sensual pleasures as the 5 lower fetters." What are the fetters actually? Fetter means like sangyojana. It is called in Pali. Sangyojana means put together or bind together or combine together. So these are mental bondages, mental afflictions or mental attachments to the samsara. When you have all these 10 fetters, these 10 fetters bind you to the samsaric journey, the endless cycle of birth and death. So the purpose or the way it happens is yoking together these afflictions or these sanyojanas, these fetters are binding us to cycle of birth and death. So according to the teachings of the Buddha, there are 10 fetters. Out of these 10 fetters, 5 fetters as classified or named as lower fetters, and another 5 is classified or named as higher fetters. So let us examine and see what are the lower fetters. The first fetter is called the identity view or the self view, and the second fetter is called the appropriation or the attachment to these rites and rituals. The Silabbata Paramasa, this is called the attachment or adherence to rites and rituals, rules and regulations. And also we have the other fetter, the doubt, and the fourth fetter is kamaraga, the desire for sensual pleasures, and the patigha or the anger or disagreement or and kind of you don't like that kind of situation. So let us examine the first identity view. So we normally believe that we get the all information for our mind through our 5 senses, through our eyes, through our nose, through our mouth, through our skin, and also mind itself create information and process and get ideas. So normally when we see things from our eyes, when light comes into our eyes, the retina in our eyes reflect it and create an image and in the eye, and that is transferred to the brain, and we will recognize and we will give name. So each and every experiences is like this. We are thinking that we are seeing and we are hearing. Actually what happens is the reflection of it, and our mind reinterpret this seeing or this hearing. So therefore the perception we are getting from our own organs are totally not correct, not totally right. Right means you don't get the correct picture or the correct sound, because it is we are having distorted, a wrong idea. So this idea of I, my, mine, myself is a very deeply rooted idea in our mind. Therefore we love our body, we love our mind, and because of this self-view, we create mental activities, we create sankhara. So when we create sankhara, what will happen? It will create good and wholesome and unwholesome actions. When we created unwholesome and wholesome action, that will lead us to another birth. Because of this karmic energy we are creating, they will have effects on next life and many lives to come. That is how this perception in these 10 petals will prolong ours. Let's see the second one, the doubt. Doubt is a great hindrance, because the person who want to understand the teachings of the Buddha, they must have a certain amount of confidence, certain amount of hypothetical confidence, that if we follow these teachings, if we follow this method, this path, this meditation, this will lead to pacify our mind, this will lead to calm our mind, this will lead to purify our mind. So this sort of self-confidence, self-understanding is very essential to walk on the path of the Buddha, walk on the spiritual path. The third sanyojana is called the adherence or wrong misappropriation of rites and rituals. We have to understand that Indian background. In India, there were many religions which they follow the very extreme ascetic practices. Some people create fires all around them and make them hot, and like they have a fire bath. From that, they expected that they will release all the unwholesome deeds, unwholesome things they have done, and they will be purified. And certain amount of people, even today you can see, they go to the Ganges river and bathe early in the morning or dip in the river 108 times, so that they think they can wash away their karmic effects, bad karmic effects, bad karmic deeds. So in this way, the three petals. So when in Buddhism, the path is gradual, training is gradual, and when person walking on the path of Dhamma, they have the 4 stages of enlightenment. One first stage called Sotapanna. In English it is called stream entry. And the second one is Sakurdagami. The person who has weakened some more petals is called the Sakurdagami. And the third stage of Anagami, the person who has reached the level of enlightenment up to third stage, they will not reborn in the human world. They will reborn either Brahma world or if they passed away, before they pass away, they might become arahants. So therefore, these petals will hinder our spiritual progress. Though then the fourth defilement or the fourth fetters is called Kamaraga. So we are living in the sensual world. If you analyze the Buddhist realms of existence, Buddhist hierarchy of existence, you have the four lower worlds: health, animal kingdom, ghostly world. These are some of the four realms, lower realms. Then we have the human realm. Actually, human realm is one of the luckiest if you're born as a human being, because you will have freedom, you will have wisdom, you can follow the teachings, and you can improve and develop your spiritual progress, because you have this free will. You can change yourself, you can develop yourself. So this is very important to be a human being, because you have the blessings of the wisdom. Human beings can think more than animals. They can work on the teachings of the Buddha. They can work on the path of the Buddha, because they have wisdom. They can choose it. So therefore, the sensual pleasures. So there are three. We were talking about these three spheres or realms of existence. Then you have the 6 heavenly realms. They are also belong to this classification of lower realms. They are. Then the second realms of existence is called Rupaloka. Rupaloka means the person who have meditated up to 4th jhana, first jhana or second jhana, third jhana or fourth jhana. When they passed away with this jhanic experiences, jhanic advancement, then they will reborn in the form world. This is called Brahma world. They have a body. And thirdly, you have the Arupa world, Arupa realms. That is, there is no physical strong body or like you can touch. They have a life based on their mind. Actually, they experience the bliss of meditation. They almost no physical body. They have mental, a very subtle mental body, and they enjoy the meditation. They enjoy the spiritual achievement. So these are the three kinds of realms explained in Buddhism. Therefore, those who eliminated first 3 fetters, that is identity view, adherence to rites and ritual, and also the doubts. So in order to understand the Dharma, Buddha has explained 4 conditions. 4 conditions need to be followed. That is, first and foremost important thing to eradicate these 5 fetters is the Kalyana, Sappurisa Sevana, the Kalyana Mitta. You must have a spiritual person, spiritual friends who guide you to the right path. Then, not only that, you must listen to the teachings of the Buddha. That is very important. Then, after that, you must follow these teachings, and also you must meet the teachers and learn the Dharma correctly, and by having learned, you can move forward in the spiritual progress. You can move forward to reach higher and better spiritual world. So the next level is called Arupa Jhana. Arupa Jhana means person who have reached up to 4th jhana. They can develop their mind further and further. Then when they develop their mind, they are called Arupa Jhanas, absorptions, and there are realms of existence in the heavenly world, Brahma world, and they don't have physical body. They have a mental, subtle body, and they enjoy their time relaxing and meditating and developing their spiritual faculties. Basically, they enjoy the spiritual the spiritual experiences in the Brahma. So when these sanyojanas are developed in a person who does not learn the Dharma, who does not know that there are these fetters, these sanyojanas. So those who don't see and those who don't practice, they may create more and more wholesome and unwholesome actions, unwholesome and wholesome thoughts, unwholesome and wholesome words, by without knowing. There is no way you can remove these fetters. So that is why it is very important to come in contact with the Dharma, come in contact with the teachings of the Buddha. Because most people in the world, they don't know that they have this kind of defilement, this kind of fetters in their lives. Therefore, the Buddha said that it is important for us to understand that especially the special attachment to the rites and rituals, because in Indian situation they have these kinds of rites and rituals which mislead people that they can achieve the enlightenment, they can purify their mind. So this fetters has two layers. One is called anusaya, other one is called the more it can be seen very clearly. So anusaya means like underlying tendency. So this Malunkyaputta, once he went to another religious teacher's temple, and they questioned Malunkyaputta, can you show when a little baby is living or just born, can you see these fetters in him? Of course you cannot see, because baby himself doesn't know, he has identity view, he doesn't know where he is, and no idea whatsoever. But Buddha explained that it is underlying in our mind, it is underlying in our thought process, but once there is right conditions, then you can see these things coming out of the baby or coming out of the elderly people, because the desire for these sensual pleasures, anger, like vyapada, all apatiga, all these are there in our mind, deeply rooted. But when there is no suitable conditions, they will not come back. So for a baby, when he is in expectation the mother's milk, if he doesn't get that mother's milk, he will cry. So similarly, when there is no opportunity, these sanyojanas, the fetters, will not come out of the mind. So therefore, Buddha said these underlying tendencies will arise when the right conditions are coming. So if, for example, if you have a seed, apple seed or some other fruit seed, you grow and you plant it and you grow the big tree and now apples are coming. If you ask at the time of the planting the seed, where is the leaves, where is the fruits of the apple, you cannot show them. But when you are planted in the ground, you can see that leaves are coming out when right sunlight is there, when the fertilizer is there. The tree grow well with many fruits. So these things can happen when these rights and conditions are there. So how to get rid of these fetters? Buddha said you can get rid of these 5 fetters temporarily and also permanently. Temporarily is to get rid of this is you must view and see that I have these defilements, I have these tendencies, I have these fetters. So you can temporarily suppress and dedicate. But the real release or real escape from these tendencies can come especially when you see that how these things are rising in your mind, how these things are sustaining in your mind, how these things are taken away, or how these things are destroyed, eliminated completely by meditation. So in order to have a better and good understanding, Buddha said you must have 4 conditions to get rid of these defilements or fetters. First, understanding comes from through the Sappurisa Sanyojana or Sappurisa Sevana. You must have very good spiritual friends who will introduce good Dharma, who will explain good Dharma to you and encourage you to follow. That way you can understand the workings of these defilements. Therefore, it is very important for us to understand how these fetters are arising in our mind, how these fetters are sustaining in our mind, and how are we going to end these fetters. The second reason we need to follow Buddhism is to listen to the teachings. When you listen to the teachings, you can clarify your doubts, you can improve your spiritual knowledge and walk on the path of the knowledge. The third very important aspect to get rid of these 5 sanyojanas is yoniso manasikara, the wise reflection of the what is going on in your mind, especially looking at your mind. And also very important, the practice according to the teachings. That is also very important. Some people listen to the teachings, but they will practice something else. They haven't understood the meaning or the value or the usefulness of the teaching, and we just follow. So when we have these 5 fetters, these lower 5 fetters, if we get rid of these lower 5 fetters, we can become stream entry, then the once returner, and also once you finish these 5 fetters, then you can get rid of the other 5 fetters. Therefore, this sutta, Buddha explained that those who are unskilled or enslaved by the sensual pleasures, those who have do not know what is going on in their mind, it is very difficult for them to get rid of their defilements. And also this Chullamalunke Putta once said to the Buddha that there are some ascetics and Brahmins, they believe that there are some set of questions who none of the religious teachers didn't know. He asked from the Buddha. Actually, they are very speculative, they are not very useful, just good for their memory or good for their understanding, but they do not give you any final release to end the samsaric journey. So when he was asked from the Buddha, Buddha said, suppose Malunke Putta, there was some person, he was hit by an arrow, very poisonous arrow, he might die in 1, 2, 3 hours time. But luckily he got some good teachers and learn the teachings and follow it, and he can realize the truth. But instead of doing that, the Malunke Putta went to the Buddha, and if Buddha do not answer my questions, I will leave the Buddhist order or I become a layman. Then Buddha said, suppose one person was hit by an arrow, and this arrow is poisonous arrow, and he might die in few hours time. And then doctor gives him, prescribes some medicine, and he says, I will not drink this medicine until I know who shot me, which kind of arrow he used, which kind of thing he is planned. So this kind of all this information, if you wait to find out before you get the treatment from the doctor, then the patient might die. So therefore, we need to understand that we are living in an urgent kind of world where we don't know when we are going to die. We don't know when is our time's up. Therefore, Buddha said, Appamadena sampadeta, you must work hard, you must work diligently, you must use your time wisely, you must make sure that your life is led or lived very meaningful way, helping yourself, helping others, and also trying to get rid of all the defilements in your mind, especially lower and upper fetters. Therefore, friends, Buddha said, those who knows the danger of this kind of fetters, and those who know that we have limited time, they can practice the teachings and realize the truth. So therefore, the upper or higher fetters and lower fetters will end, can be end to those who will strive and those who try to walk on the path of the Buddha, and those who try to walk on the path of Dhamma, they can realize the teachings. So may the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha guide you and protect you and bless you.